Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And as you guys can see from the title today, we're celebrating an achievement today. We're celebrating a milestone. 70,000 subscribers. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for yourselves. Wow. 70K. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't think I ever expected to hit those kinds of numbers when I started this. Like, I don't know where I was thinking this was gonna go, but 70,000 subscribers, that was not like in my mainline vision. So, wow. First and foremost, I'm so thankful, so grateful for all the support you guys give me. And to hit a number like that, it's unreal. And now the goal for me, bro, I'm looking at 100K now. Like, what? Now that I'm here, I might as well see how far can I go, man. 100K. I heard they give you a plaque for that. Yeah, please, man. That's the next milestone we gotta hit. But I wanted to kind of mark this milestone with a special kind of video, and today I've decided to do a 70K Q&A. So I went to my Discord, which is linked in my description down below if you guys want to go join in there. I let you guys know when I'm live on stream. We have conversations in there. People ask questions, etc., etc. And I asked you guys, send me some questions that you'd want to see me answer on a Q&A. And I'm not gonna answer all of them because some of them, I can't lie, are crazy. Crazy. I'll let you guys go see them for yourselves in the Discord, but I'll answer the best one. So without further ado, let's get into it. First question comes from SAFC_13. He says, congratulations, Lyes. This channel brought me a lot of joy since I started watching. I'm glad to hear it. My question is, what one place have you wanted to visit your whole life? And I've been very blessed to visit some cool places. I've been to Africa, I've been to Europe, I've obviously been to North America. There's two places I would really love to visit. One of them would have to be Brazil, because I just think if you're a football fan, Brazil, that's the home of football, man. Obviously more so than just the football, right? Like, I think Brazil, it just seems so fast. Obviously there's parts of Brazil I'm not trying to find myself lost in on a dark night, I can't lie. But Rio de Janeiro, oh my goodness. I think Brazil is one of those places I would love to spend like a little bit of time just visiting and traveling and exploring and stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool. And then of course, the other one is Japan. I think Japanese culture is so fascinating. And when I see videos and I see clips of people visiting Japan for the first time, it just looks like a totally different world, man. Like, I always say Japan just feels like 20 years ahead in the future when it comes to like technology and stuff like that. It just looks so cool. And I just think Japanese culture in general is something really fascinating that I'd love to spend a bit of time again exploring and then just visiting, to be honest with you. So I'd have to say Japan and Brazil. Those would be the top two on my bucket list. Winter asks me, do you ever plan to stream on YouTube too? Okay, so this is my official announcement. I will be taking my watch-alongs that I do throughout the season. I'm going to be taking some of them onto YouTube next year. I'm not going to be doing my regular streams on YouTube because there's just too much copyright that I can avoid on Twitch. But in terms of just watching along with games with you guys, I do plan to kind of experiment next season and see how they kind of translate over on YouTube, because I do think that I have a huge audience on YouTube that maybe don't even know I stream, to be honest with you, and kind of get to miss out on that. So I think that's something I'm going to try and bring into the channel next season. Yusuf asks me, congratulations on this next landmark on your journey. If you had to switch from football content, which other sports would you talk about? This is easy for me. Basketball. I'm not into any other sports other than football and NBA. NBA is my second sport. Now, I don't watch it anywhere close to as much as football, but I got a lot of love for basketball, man. Obviously, I mentioned on a few videos, I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. Not the best time for us at the moment, but hey, Brendan Ingram comes back this season. We'll see how he kind of does. I mean, I'm hoping we just get in the playoffs this year, but no, I'd definitely be NBA, man. I keep an eye out for all NBA news. I watch literally so many basketball shows. If you look at my YouTube recommended, it's all basketball creators, Kenny, like all of these guys, bro. So it would definitely be NBA. And who knows, maybe I gotta do more NBA content next year. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see some of that. Raf says, evening, Lyes, congratulations on 70K. Saw a debate on Twitter earlier about the GOAT British player. Where do you stand on the issue? Personally, I struggle to separate Bale and Rooney. I don't want to dismiss Giggs, but I'm talking about prime. Keep it from 90s onwards. Yeah, okay, if we're gonna go 90s onwards, I think those are probably the two main guys. I think anything before that, I would have probably looked at somebody like Sir Bobby Charlton, potentially. But if we're gonna keep it 90s onwards, I do think Rooney and Gareth Bale are probably the two best ones that I've seen. And I struggle to look past Bale, man. I absolutely love Wayne Rooney. I think he's the best Man United player of the modern, or the greatest Man United player of the modern era. But what Gareth Bale managed to do at Real Madrid and on the European stage, and then on the international stage with Wales as well too. I mean, Bale is a better international performer than Rooney, and one of them played for Wales, the other played for England. So as much as I love Wayne, honestly, I love Waza. Like, I interviewed him. That's my United GOAT right there. I think it has to be Bale, man. What that guy did for Wales at Euro 2016, taking their first World Cup in so long. What he did with Real Madrid as well too in Champions League finals. I think it has to be Gareth Bale, man. Has to be Gareth Bale. Obiora Okoye asks me, will the mighty Nigeria from West Africa ever win a World Cup? Hey, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Not in my lifetime. I'm not expecting in my lifetime, but you never know at the same time too, man. I mean, the squad is getting better and better every single year, even though, to be honest, I doubt they're even going to qualify for this next World Cup. But you look at a few of these African teams and the squads are so much better than they were 10, 15 years ago. Now, whether that's due to like a lot of players who have Nigerian heritage, for example, deciding to play for their parents' country, that has helped them recruit some really, really top players. I do look at a few African teams and I'm thinking to myself, like, you guys are poised to make a deep run in the World Cup if you ever manage to make it. Similar to what Morocco did in the last one, but winning the whole damn thing, that's a tough ask. But if any African team could do it, I wouldn't put it past Nigeria. I would say they would be one of the favorites. If I had to put money on an African team to win the World Cup one day, they'd be high up there for me. So Fadi asks me, if you had to box one member from SDS, regardless of weight class, who would it be? And why is it Faisal? You can't say regardless of weight class. That matters, right? I'm never going to box star player. Ever. For obvious reasons. I'm never going to box Fuad. So I think weight class has to matter here. And honestly, because it matters, I don't think it would be Faisal. I think it would be Ilyas. Now, nothing against Ilyas. I love the guy. But if we're talking about who would I have the best chance of realistically coming out on top against, I feel like Faisal, that's a lot of that. Let me be respectful here, but you know what I mean? Like he's got a weight advantage on me, bro. Boxing match me versus Ilyas. I favor myself. Kaisedo Kante asks me, can you please drop your skincare routine? A lot of us in here follow you strictly because of your looks. I mean, look, right now, asking me for skincare advice ain't the best idea for obvious reasons. I mean, I've had the worst sunburn of all time in the last week or so. First and foremost, wear SPF. Wear SPF, wear SPF, wear SPF. And if you don't, wear aloe vera. But in general, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm just really blessed with genetics, but I never really had skincare issues. Like, okay, you get the odd pimple here and there when you're younger, but I never really had. I think a lot of it is genetics, to be honest with you. But if I'm gonna get yourself a nice moisturizer, man, get yourself a I don't really think you got to do too much unless, again, genetically you just have really bad skin. But yeah, I can't speak for myself because I feel like I've kind of been blessed in that department. But I'm sorry, that's the most I can give you. Actually, to be fair, if you want clear skin, at the very least, bro, to give yourself the best advantage possible, eat well, sleep a lot, work out, get sunlight, drink a lot of water. I think all of that will at least give you a head start. Now, if the genetics still on top of that are still working extra hard to make sure you got spots all over your face, then look, I'm sure there's a lot of great products out there. But I think to even make sure you got somewhat clear skin, bro, eat well, eat your vegetables, don't eat junk food, don't eat too many oily things, wash your face, make sure you get enough sleep, don't stress, that's all gonna help you, in my opinion. JJ says, massive congrats on hitting 70k, Lyes. I've been watching since around 20k and it's been unreal seeing how fast you're growing. Appreciate that. So well deserved. My question is, what are your top 4 favorite movies of all time? Okay, well, I'm gonna be very honest here, and I'm not afraid to say it. I am a big Christopher Nolan fan. Big Christopher Nolan fan. I've watched all his films. So I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not ashamed to say it. My favorite film of all time is The Prestige. The Prestige is my favorite movie of all time. I'm not saying it's his best work. I know people are like Interstellar. Those are all amazing films. Oppenheimer as well too. But my favorite film is The Prestige. Second favorite film ever. You know what? It's funny because they made an American remake with Kevin Hart. I've never watched that, but I can't imagine it's any good. But the French version, it's called Les Intouchables. In English, it's The Untouchables. In French, Les Intouchables. Unbelievable. And it's better in French. I mean, I would literally recommend you guys to watch it dubbed or with subtitles rather than watch the American version. The French version is incredible, bro. Beautiful story. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It's an amazing film, man. An amazing film. Third, again, I'm a Nolan fanboy, so I'd probably have to say Interstellar. I mean, Interstellar is an amazing film. The first time I ever watched it, Interstellar is peak, bro. Interstellar is peak. I'd probably go Interstellar third. And then fourth, these aren't the best movies of all time. These are just my favorites. I'm a big comic book film guy, right? And although the MCU has just fell off a cliff as of late, Avengers Infinity War, that shit was peak, man. That shit was peak. But then so was Spider-Man 2. So was The Dark Knight. I think I gotta go Avengers Infinity War, man. Favorite movies, I think that's up there, bro. I have so many. It's tough to just pick 4. But off the top of my head, I would probably say those are my 4 favorite films. If gun to my head, if I could just name 4, those are up there, man. Those are up there. That's my favorite. Don't sue me. Don't say, oh, this one's better. It's just my favorites. Winter asks me, how likely is it that the greatest Premier League player of all time will change in the current pool of players? AKA, will Haaland or someone else surpass Thierry Henry? Well, you guys know how I feel about this. I don't think Erling Haaland can ever be better than Thierry Henry. It doesn't matter how many goals he scores. I just think when I'm talking about greatness and the best, I do think quality overall does come into play. And although Haaland, in my opinion, has the potential to be the greatest goal scorer of all time, in terms of the greatest player, the greatest Premier League player of all time, I'm sorry, I really struggle to ever think I could potentially think he's better than Henry. You might say that's aesthetics. No, I just think how great of a footballer Henry was. I could never put Haaland over him, to be honest with you. And I don't think I could put anyone in this current pool, to be honest with you. Like, does anyone have the potential? Nah, I don't think so. I don't look at this group right now and think to myself, these guys could be the best. Like, nah, I don't think so. I think Henry, for me, yeah, no, I stand by that. I think Henry, by the time all of these current Premier League players are done, retired, Henry would still rank higher than them for me. I mean, unless Cole Palmer, one of these young guys, Saka just goes on this unbelievable transformation. I think Henry is too much, man. Like, he just has a bit of everything, bro. The goals, the numbers, the trophies, the quality, the technical ability, the showman, like everything, bro. Henry is the prem for me. So I struggle to really think so. H asks me, how hard was the process to apply for uni in the UK for sports journalism? And do you have any advice for someone who wants to go through a similar journey? Honestly, I didn't think it was difficult whatsoever. Now, you guys know, because I've told you this, I went and got a master's in international sports journalism without ever doing an undergraduate 4-year degree. Ever. I never had any like collegiate experience in journalism. I never had a degree to say I did 4 years in journalism. To get a master's, I mean, it does help if you have the previous experience, but all I had to do was apply, and then I had to go through an interview phase. I had to show my writing. I had to get recommendations. There was a whole thing I had to go through. But no, I think it was actually, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't the toughest thing I've ever done. It was definitely tougher doing engineering for 4 years than it was trying to get my master's in journalism. Look, I can tell you where I went. I went to St. Mary's in Twickenham, right? Like, it's an amazing program, headlined by an amazing professor and an amazing group of professors. Dara Minogue is the man. If you ever end up going to that school, let them know I sent you. Yeah, it wasn't difficult whatsoever. I mean, look, it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to be very perseverant with it. You're not gonna be able to slack off and just get the master's at the end of it. But it's not, for me, the most impossible task you're ever going to do. As long as you love it and as long as you really put serious effort behind it, it'll go just like this, honestly. The Great Dane says, massive congrats, Lyes. Who is, in your opinion, the most influential figure in football history? Not necessarily the best. I think this is an easy one. This one has to be Johan Cruyff for me. Now, I think newer generations will say Pep Guardiola because of the way he's kind of shaped the modern game with his style. But let's call it what it is. There is no Pep Guardiola without Johan Cruyff. There is no FC Barcelona as we currently know it without Johan Cruyff. There is no total football without Johan Cruyff. There is no tiki-taka without Johan Cruyff. There is no Ajax. There's no... Everything, for me, almost originates from Cruyff. And some people will say, well, before Cruyff, there was Rinus Michels. But I think Cruyff, man, when you look at, first of all, his impact as a player, but then his impact as well, too, as a manager, and then his impact as a I think it was sporting director at Barcelona. He had some kind of role above manager. This guy, for me, has shaped the way football has been played from the start of his career to ultimately today. More so than anybody, man. The amount of like graduates from Ajax or graduates from Barcelona that have almost like directly been created from his influence as a football manager and a football mind is ridiculous, man. I think this is a no-brainer. He is easily the most influential person in the history of football. Fatty asks me, biggest of bros, what's your opinion on Ronaldo versus LeBron in terms of who's the most athletic athlete ever? For me personally, I'd say it's LeBron because the speed at which he's moving shouldn't be possible at his body weight. If we're just talking about athleticism, I think it has to be LeBron. And that's nothing against Cristiano Ronaldo, because Cristiano Ronaldo at his best could jump out the gym, fast as a cheetah, very strong as well too, like no doubt about it. But LeBron James, I'd struggle to see what, maybe in a straight line sprint, Ronaldo has him. I mean, not maybe, he definitely does. He's lighter, he's more agile, I think. But in terms of strength, in terms of like, I think LeBron is the better athlete. I think LeBron is more athletic than Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, bro, he's taller than him. He can jump fast, jump higher than him. He can probably bench more than him. Yeah, LeBron is a freak of nature. They both are, but I would go LeBron James. R&R, my guy says, my 2 questions for you is that if you could go back in time and relive one football moment again, but in stadium, what would it be? And my second question is, Which one player taken out of football would have changed the game forever? Of course, the easy answer would be Messi or Ronaldo, but who else could it be for you? So the first answer, he said it himself. For me, it's the 2022 World Cup final. That is one of the biggest regrets in my life, is that I wasn't present at that game. Honestly, I wake up in cold sweats sometimes thinking, how did I miss that game? That's the best game I've ever watched in my life. And I think a lot of people would probably argue it's the best game they've ever watched. So that would have to be my easy answer. And secondly, the one footballer that would have changed the game if you took him out, bar Messi or Ronaldo, I mean, again, it probably has to be Johan Cruyff, because like I said, I think he's the most influential person in football, and so much looks different without Cruyff in the game. That one is easy for me. Zach says, what advice would you give to someone who is younger and wants to get into sports journalism whilst managing studies? I have the skills required, like basic camera and editing skills, as well as talking to a camera yet. I don't know where and how to start. I mean, Zach, I would have to say you basically have everything at your feet. Like, everything is in your hands right now. You have the camera, you have the microphone, I'm guessing. You know how to edit, you know how to record. I hope you know how to speak. All you have to do, put your camera somewhere, sit in front of it, press record, speak, finish recording when you're done, and post it on YouTube. It's as simple as that. Maybe even post it on TikTok. Maybe even post it on Twitter, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. This is the number one advice I give to everybody who asks me, how do I get started? How do I do what you do? How do I do this for a living? I mean, there's only one place you can start, and that's by uploading your content. Like, if you don't upload your content, who's ever going to see it? How are you ever going to get anywhere if you don't share your stuff? And that's not me taking a dig at anybody, right? But the first step is just putting yourself out there. It's putting yourself out there. So the fact that you know how to do all of this and you have the gear, I'm sorry, you've done all the hard work. Now the easiest part is just setting it up, talking, and then putting it on the internet. And then from there, it is what it is. Jay asks, how did your family, like your dad, mom, brother, and sister, help you to be in the place where you are now? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I wouldn't be where I am without them. I mean, literally, I wouldn't be where I am without my mom and dad, of course, obviously. But in general, their support in every sense has been life-changing, man. Like, first of all, like, just allowing me to chase my dreams, supporting them, backing me in everything I do, kind of giving me as well too. I have to be honest, like there were moments in my life where I needed some financial backing from my parents, of course, right? Like me telling them I wanted to leave engineering and pursue something else, and them telling me, okay, we're going to support you and let you stay at home and stuff like that while you kind of try and get this off the ground. That's a blessing, man. I'm fully aware that not everybody is lucky enough to kind of have that backing in their life. So I'd have to say I owe everything to them, man. And of course, my dad and my mom even like kind of believing in me every single step of the way. It's not always easy. I tell people this all the time, right? Everyone's journey in this is very, very different. Although I would have to say, like, a lot of it has been upwards trajectory. Everybody has bumps in the roads as well, too. Failure is normal for everybody. Failure is part of the process. But having a good support system when you do inevitably fail so that you can get back on your feet and learn from your mistakes, that's invaluable, man. That's invaluable because you always need someone to help pick you back up. So the question, how do I thank my family? How would they help me be in the place they are now? I wouldn't be in the place I am now without my family. So that, again, these questions are easy, man. These questions are really, really easy. So Mel asks, congrats, Lyes. Do you think having a platform or some kind of influence on social media is necessary to be a successful journalist nowadays? I only write for an online magazine, and I'm not sure if having to make content and potentially investing too much time into that is really worth it or necessary. Well, for me, these are two different kinds of questions. Do I think having a platform or influence on social media is necessary to be a successful journalist today? I don't want to say it's necessary, but it's very, very beneficial. I don't think there's any negative to having a big social media platform if you're a journalist. There's no negative to it whatsoever. There's no downside. Because the bigger your platform is, the bigger your audience is, and the bigger your potential view count is on articles that you're writing. Obviously, you want to have as many eyes as possible. And if you have already a pretty big platform, that helps. Now, the second question, making content, doing videos and stuff like that, is it worth it or necessary? I think absolutely. I think it is definitely, no, it's worth it, but it's not necessary. But I definitely think it's worth it. In my opinion, video media is the number one form of media in the game today. Whether that's podcasts or whether that's YouTube videos or whether that's like TikToks or something like that. I think video is the most prominent form of media these days, just based on how society is going. That's my personal opinion. So I read articles all the time. I read books all the time. But if I have the option of watching a video explaining something or reading an article, more likely than not, I'm going to give the video a shot before I give the article. So I think, and that's not to say, by the way, ditch your online magazine or stop writing articles. By no means. I think you should continue doing that. But why not both? Why not? I would highly recommend it. I would recommend to anybody to pick up a camera and try making more video content. I think you can only gain from that. Henry asks, congratulations, Lyes. My question is that if you could pinpoint one moment in your career where you thought, I've made it, or essentially that you knew you were going to make it, and of course continue to grow, what would it be? Also, would you say that you're someone that appreciates their own hard work, which I think you should do and continue to for sure? Okay, I think I mentioned this before, but if I haven't, the moment I thought to myself, not that I've made it, but I'm like, oh, I'm fully in this gig. Like, this is real. Like, this isn't just something I'm experimenting anymore. This isn't like, oh, I'm making it up as I go. Like, I'm actually in this. That's when I interviewed Henri. Or I would say the moments leading up to interviewing Henri. I remember a week before that, right? I had done my second interview ever with Gabriel Jesus. And it's one of my least favorite interviews I ever did, because I always say this, right? Or I've always told people this. Because it was my second interview ever, my first one was with Van de Ven. It went amazing. My second one was Jesus. It went less than ideal. And the reason for it was I quickly learned Jesus is a very, very mellow person. He's very, very calm. He's not very loud. He's not very exuberant. He's a nice guy, great guy, but he's not the most like exuberant person. And I quickly learned with interviews, you have to really kind of like, you can't match your person's energy. Like if the person you're interviewing is super mellow, you cannot be mellow yourself. Otherwise the interview is going to suck. You have to bring energy to compensate for the other person. And I didn't. The lack of experience absolutely killed me in that interview. Of course, editing, you can make anything look good. But I genuinely came out of that interview thinking, nah, that was poor. I was really unhappy with the way it went. Not anything to do with Jesus. I just didn't bring the energy it should have. So for Henri, I was really like, this was a few days later. Again, this is my third interview at this point. I was really thinking to myself like, okay, like I have to kill this. I have to smash it. Learn from your mistakes. And I actually went into that interview planning when the camera starts. I'm going to introduce myself in English, all that stuff before the cameras. The minute the camera starts, I'm going to do the entire introduction in French just to get a reaction out of him like, whoa, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, we're on a level footing. All of a sudden, there's energy to the interview. We can go from there. And it did. It was the best interview I've ever done, by far, still to this day. But in the build up to it, I remember I went to the bathroom to kind of just like wash my face, and like, this is a big moment for me, man. Thierry Henry, like, this is for me one of the greatest players of all time, someone I really look up to, not just in the football and playing as football, but also as a pundit now. I think he's one of the best. So I was really in the bathroom, like just looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, okay, we're here now. Like the fact I'm about to interview Thierry Henry. I've been in the UK for like a year, and I'm about to interview Titi. I'm under no illusion that this is a big moment in my career. So I would probably say that would be the moment. And as for someone that, do I appreciate my own hard work? I try to in moments, because I definitely think, guys, right, in this whole journey of life that we're all on, right? Not just me, but everybody. I do think sometimes we get lost so much in this pursuit of our goals that we oftentimes forget to stay grounded in the moment and appreciate how far we've come. We're so goal-oriented, goal-focused that we only really focus on the end destination. And in the process, we completely just disregard it. I think that's a major L on all of our parts. I think life is the process, and not kind of appreciating the moment and the progress that we've made in that process is like, that's the wrong way of going about it. Because then eventually when you do reach your goal, you're not really celebrating the goal at the end of it. You're really celebrating the entire process it took to get to that goal. So to answer your question, am I somebody that tries to appreciate my own hard work? It's difficult because I do think we are so like caught in the moment, but at times you really do have to take a step back and think to yourself, no matter what you're doing, by the way, right? Whether it's content for me or whether, I don't know, you're a doctor or you're a lawyer, or you're this or you're that, bro, at one point in your life, you dreamed of doing what you're doing now. So at times in your life, it's important to step back and realize you are living the dreams that the younger you 10 years earlier probably always wished you could be doing. I think it's very, very important to appreciate that moment. So yeah, 100%. I think we're gonna call it there. This is my 70K Q&A. As always, guys, if you want to be involved in the next one, 80K. I mean, we're already 9K away, bro. The growth on this channel is crazy. If you want to be involved in the next one, click the Discord link in my description. You'll be added to my community. You'll find a 70K special Q&A, and you can add questions for the next Q&A that we do. But with that being said, guys, I have to thank you one more time. Thank you so much for getting me to this massive, massive goal of mine. 100K is the one I'm looking at next, man. 100K. 100K before the end of the year. Guys, that would be insane. And I can only do it with your guys' help. So appreciate your support. And on to the next, man. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.